The first obstacle, starting on the beam, walk along the pyramids to reach the poles using each of the pyramids in order. Go from the pole indicated without grabbing onto the cargo net to the pole across. You can either statically move or jump across to get to the pole, making sure you don't touch the ground at any point, as with all obstacles. Traverse along the poles, grabbing only the vertical poles, no grabbing onto any of the horizontal poles. Continue along until you reach the last pole demonstrated here, which is the one attached to the salmon ladder. And from there, dismount to the red box to complete the first obstacle. You can either dismount statically or dismount in a jump to it. Make sure you stick the landing though. Up next, leaving the platform before you remove a peg from the birdcage. Use as many of the bird cages as needed by making contact with the pegs only, so no grabbing onto the bird cages. Get one of the pegs to the last bird cage before transferring to the mini trapeze bar, and from there, complete a lâcher to grab the rope rings, making sure you grab them both at the same time so they don't slip off. Slide them as far as needed to complete a lâcher to the cliff ledge, the swinging cliff ledge, and then from there dismount onto the mat that indicates a dismount area. Up next, leave the platform before moving the hooks off their starting step. Use as many or as few of the steps as needed to get to the last step indicated before transferring to the bar, onto the rope, and then from the rope directly onto the balance beam, which you can do statically or dynamically, and then walk along the balance beam onto the next beam, on the remaining beams to reach the warp wall, including the tilt beam. From there, continuing directly from the warp wall, not standing on the ground, go to the next beam, and the beam on the box, and the pyramid onto the last beam before dismounting past to the dismount area. Up next, go to the salmon ladder bar and transfer the bar to the second salmon ladder. Any of the rungs is fine, and then transfer to the rope. Disengage the rope to then dismount past the line of tape from the rope. Use the mini trapeze onto the pipe, and then the cannonballs until you reach the second trapeze bar, mini trapeze. You need to complete a lâcher past the green rope to the UFO. If you break the rope or if the rope comes down, then you've failed the obstacle, so no contacting the rope. Up next, taking a candy cane in one hand and a ring in the other, traverse along the ring toss until you have the candy cane past the second last peg before dismounting. If you drop the candy cane before that point, then you have failed the obstacle, so you must get the candy cane past the second last peg before dismounting to the platform. You don't have to get the ring to a particular spot. Anywhere is fine. Jumping out to the unstable bridge, complete a lâcher to the bar, complete a lâcher to the second bar. Once you've lâchered to the bar, transfer either statically or dynamically to the mini UFO, the spinning UFO. Complete a lâcher from there up to the next bar, and then transfer to the sideboard. From the sideboard, so no hands on the bar when you make this next move. From the sideboard, so only contacting the sideboard, jump out and grab the ring and place it into the hook without touching the ground at any point. From that ring, complete a lâcher to the sky hook handle. Grabbing onto the front end as demonstrated. From there, transfer to the ring and complete one move with the ring to the next skyhook before dismounting past the line of tape and hitting the buzzer to finish your run. Using feet only, traverse the beams and across the pyramids to go to the pole with hands and feet as needed from the last pyramid. Once you're on the poles, you can either use the poles or the cargo net as you choose. Um, it's your choice whether you want to go along the cargo net or the poles, whichever one you think will be quicker. You can only grab onto the near side of the cargo net, so you do have to get around the first pole, come over the other side, and you can dismount to the platform whenever you feel ready. Don't have to get to the last pole. Anywhere on the cargo net you can dismount to the platform from to finish that obstacle. Up next, jumping out to the rings and complete a lâché onto the black cliff grabs there on the X grab, and from there, swinging through onto the ropes and dismounting from the second rope past the line of tape. Up next, you're going to traverse along the wall using hands and feet as needed on any hold that you like until you get to the hook holds. Once you've reached the hook holds, you can only grab onto the hook holds with your hands, can't grab onto the wall with your hands, and putting the hook holds only in the rings, get at least one of the hook holds to the last ring before dismounting to the platform. You can still use your feet wherever you like. On this obstacle, obviously not on the ground, but anywhere on the wall is fine, any of those holds. Once you have one in the end, you can dismount past the line of tape. You don't have to get both in. Walking along the balance beam, only ever walking on the orange parts of the balance beams, not grabbing onto the or walking along the support structures that are black on the side, using the pyramid and the remaining two balance beams to get to the warp wall. From the warp wall, direct to the wobble beam, and then walking along the remaining three beams to get to the dismount mat to finish the obstacle. Starting in a box, getting the trapeze bar and completing a lâché to the spinning bar, and from the spinning bar, completing a lâché to the trapeze bar. Once you have enough swing, and then grabbing onto the vertical sections of the holds, which will come apart. So grabbing the middle of the magnet holds, one in each hand, and then from there, completing a lâché to the UFO, and dismounting from the UFO past the line of tape to finish this obstacle. Up next, it's going to the ring toss. So leaving the platform with a ring in each hand and getting one ring at least all the way to the end before dismounting the platform. So all the way past the last peg before dismounting, making sure you don't contact the ground at any point while you're doing this obstacle, as it can get quite low in the middle. So one past the last peg, and then dismount to the red box, which is the dismount platform. Up next, completing a series of trapeze bar lâchés. These must be lâchés, no spanning. Going through all the trapeze bars and dismounting past the line of tape from the third and final trapeze bar. Up next, for the preteens division, they'll be going from the trapeze bar up to the unstable bridge, going from the unstable bridge to the UFO, and then from the UFO past the line of tape. Make sure you go fully past the line of tape and hit the buzzer. And for the teens division, they will be starting on the unstable bridge, completing a lâché to the bar, and then lâché to the second bar, and then again to a third bar. Once they've reached that third bar, they can transfer to the vertical board. From that board, it's jumping out and grabbing onto the bar, and then from that bar, reach out or lâché to the ring that's on the hook and complete a lâché from that ring onto the closest hook on the sky hook, catching directly onto the hook, not onto the ring. And then once you've caught that near side of the sky hook, transferring to the ring and making one move with the ring to the next skyhook before dismounting past the line of tape and hitting the buzzer to finish your run before landing. Up next, using hands and feet as needed, go on all of the steps to get past the line of tape. Swing on the first and last of the holds, the first hold being a ring and the last hold being a cannonball before dismounting to the ground. Make sure you don't grab the bolts, only grab around the resin sections of the obstacles or the rings in that case. So past line tape. Traverse along the wall using any holds that you like, hands and feet as needed until you get to the ring. You can reach for the ring whenever you want. Once you reach for the ring, you can only put hands on the rings. So whenever you're comfortable, you can reach out for the ring and then continue to put your feet on the wall or the holds as needed, but only grabbing onto the rings and get to the last ring before dismounting to the platform from the last ring or the wall. Up next, walking along the beam and onto the next beam. Onto the spinning disc, beams, pyramid, beams, only walking onto the orange section of these beams, no stepping onto the black sections, and then complete a body prop along the wall, putting feet on the cliff bottoms if you need to, the footholds there, and then dismount past the line of tape. So hands on the bar, feet on the wall or the ledges. Swing through the trapeze bars to reach the hook balls and get one of the hook balls to the last carabiner before dismounting past the line of tape. Take a ring in each hand and move the rings as far along the pegs as needed to transfer to the next set of holds, and then get to the last hold before dismounting to the platform. So as soon as you feel comfortable, you can transfer to the avocado, or you can do one more move. Make sure you don't grab onto the bolts or the ropes, just the resin sections themselves. You can skip in the middle, but you just have to get to the last ball before dismounting to the platform. Jump out to the trapeze bar and complete a lache to the next trapeze bar and the one after that. From there, you are going to build up your nos swing and then lache past the line of tape to dismount. From the trapeze bar, complete a lache to the unstable bridge, grabbing onto the sides, not grabbing onto the bolts on top, and either walk your hands along or shuffle your hands along as far as needed to dismount from the unstable bridge past the line of tape before hitting the buzzer to finish your run.